Hi, football fam, and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Football with Fakier, your home for all sorts of football content. And we're back with another video. This will be my weekend preview. We'll jump from the Premier League Game Week 2 fixtures to the MTN second leg semi-final, as well as an exciting feature in the Bundesliga that will kick us off. So let's jump straight into the video. So before we continue and jump into the video, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and do share this out to all your friends and family. It really helps the channel grow. We do interact with all the people who comment. So thank you so much if you have liked, subscribe, and comment on the previous videos. If not, we do appreciate you for just watching. However, please don't be shy. It takes nothing to subscribe or the like button. So kicking us off in the Premier League on Friday evening, we have West Ham hosting Chelsea in the London derby. West Ham starting the Premier League season off to a bad start after losing to Sunderland 3-0, while Chelsea played to a 0-0 draw with Crystal Palace. I mean, for Chelsea, with all the players they brought in after winning the Club World Cup as well, it for them it would be disappointing. Obviously, Crystal Palace winning the Community Shield against Liverpool, so they were on a high as well. So Chelsea going into this game against West Ham, there's nothing less than 3 points that they want. However, West Ham on the other hand have everything to play for, to get the season off to a bad start, losing to a newly promoted team like Sunderland. Um, for West Ham, they have everything to play for. They've been in the bottom half of the season for the past couple of seasons, so for them to get 3 points on Friday evening will be massive because they would want to get off the mark, get 3 points in the bag, and then obviously have a better season than what they had last season. And then the big fixture of the weekend on Saturday in the early kickoff, Manchester City hosting Tottenham Hotspur. City against Wolves' formidable side. We saw them play Wolves off the park, winning 4-0. Ryan Cherky coming from the bench, newly signed, much anticipated performance. We saw him come from the bench, while ever the standout player was Tajani Reinders, also a new signing, playing in that box to box role. Um, Carrying the ball forward, creating and as well as scoring. And then the formidable threat of Erling Haaland up front. However, they come up against a Tottenham side who also won Burnley 3-0. Coming off a Super Cup disappointment against PSG after leading 2-0 and then going into penalties and losing. They came back firing against Burnley. A brace from Richarlison and Brennan Johnson obviously making it three for Tottenham against Burnley. However, Mohamed Kudus, man, what a play, Mohamed Kudus, um, on his debut, 2 assists. And then you have the way Spurs are setting up under the new manager. They're playing five at the back. That's where they're solid. I mentioned this in my weekend review on Monday in my video that is where they solid. They building a solid base at the back, so you have your more attacking players who can do the job. This is obviously the fixture for the weekend. Um, you can expect a lot of goals in my opinion. I have a feeling City will win 3-1. However, it is football. A ball can bounce anyway. It's on the day. Which team shows up and which team wants it more. But in my prediction, I'm going with City to win 3-1. In other fixtures on Saturday, we have Bournemouth hosting Wolves, Brentford hosting Aston Villa, Burnley hosting Sunderland, and then Arsenal hosting Leeds. Leeds getting their season off to a good start with a 1-0 win over Everton. They were dominant in that match, where Arsenal, on the other hand, even though they were 1-0 victors over Manchester United, they were not the good side. They didn't look good on the eye. So we're hoping that Arsenal can come back and be the title contenders. Um, or even as the title champions, like I predicted. With the performance they gave on Sunday against Manchester United, I don't think Arsenal will be champions. Or is this a season where we just see Arsenal just get the 3 points? That's how leagues are won. You don't need to play beautiful football, but if you're getting the points, if you're picking up the 3 points, and before you know it, after 10 matches, you're unbeaten. You won 9 out of your 10 matches with one draw, and that's how champions win the league. You don't need to play the best of football, but however, what you can do is just get the 3 points. And if that is Arsenal's way of playing this season, then that's maybe what you can expect. But still, they're dangerous from set pieces. That's how they scored against Manchester United. I do predict Arsenal to win, and I do expect Victor Gyökeres to have a better match on upcoming Saturday than what they had on Sunday against Manchester United. So I do predict Arsenal to win comfortably 3-0 against Leeds. Going into Sunday's fixtures, the only team who picked up 3 points on Sunday was over the past weekend. That is playing on Sunday is Nottingham Forest. and they are away at Crystal Palace, who drew against Chelsea. Obviously, the talks of Eberitse Eze moving to Arsenal at the time of recording this video, there was nothing confirmed. However, this could mean that he might not start against Nottingham Forest, and Forest might see um, opportunity for them to go on and pick up another 3 points after beating Brentford 3-1. Everton hosts Brighton. Everton against Leeds, they were second best on all fronts. They couldn't get out of the half. Leeds pinned them back. With Brighton on the other hand, they unfortunately conceded a late goal against Fulham to draw 1-1. And then the late fixture on Sunday, Fulham hosts Manchester United. Like I mentioned now, Fulham scoring late against Brighton. They are still finding their feet. The same players of last year, Iwobi. You have Muniz, the striker. You have Pereira. So against a Manchester United team, which we saw on Sunday, who are looking like a house on fire, the individual brilliance of Cunha and Buemo, can that be the difference against Fulham? Might We might see Cisco starting. For Manchester United, it's all about, like I mentioned in my weekend review on Monday, it's about finding the combinations, finding what works for them. However, it can be a game where they are still starting to find their feet, and Fulham can go to them and and take the game to them and get the win. We know last season Fulham was the only team who Manchester United were able to beat twice. So it will be interesting to see how the fixture unfolds on Sunday. And then on Monday, the last fixture for the game week, we have Newcastle hosting Liverpool. Newcastle playing to a draw against Aston Villa, against a 10-man Aston Villa. Newcastle looking a shadow of themselves. You can see Alexander Isak is missing up front. While Liverpool, they have their flaws in their game. Without a recognized defensive midfielder, you could see that they were struggling in that position. No one to sit in front of the back four. Frimpong still needs lots of adjustment to the league, even though I think offensively offers a lot more. However, defensively, his physicality might be something that Newcastle will look to exploit. Also, Milos Kirk is at left back. We saw his flaws as well against a player like Semenyo. And we know with Newcastle, what they do is they come with the physicality in midfield with Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and Joe Linton. And that's what they will can. Liverpool's midfield will stand at physicality of the Newcastle midfield. Um, the Where Newcastle is lacking is a striker. They had Anthony Gordon as a striker, which in my opinion it didn't work for them on Saturday against Aston Villa. However, it can come Monday that they do try something different. But I do feel Liverpool's firepower with Hugo Ekatike, what a debut he had, Cody Gakpo. We still yet to see um, the best of Florian Wirtz. He's still adjusting. Mo Salah had an off game, even though he still scored. So it'll be an interesting fixture. I do predict a 1-1 draw um, between Newcastle and Liverpool. And that is my Premier League prediction. Moving on to the MTN 8 fixtures on Saturday, the first fixture at the Lucas Masterpiece Moripe Stadium. We go into the match at 1-1. Sundowns hosting Orlando Pirates. We saw last week how Sundowns dominated the first half and then Pirates dominated the second half after they made the changes. Both teams picked up 3 points in the week. So everything will be there to play for on Saturday. It will be interesting to watch. I did predict, I do see Pirates going to the final. Um, However way that they go to penalties, if Pirate wins in regulation time, um, but however, I do see Pirates going to the final. And then the second semi-final, we'll see Sekekune hosting Stellenbosch FC. Stellenbosch having the upper hand there, leading 2-0 on aggregate going into the second leg. I did predict Stellenbosch will qualify as well, mainly because that two-goal cushion is good enough. Stellenbosch, however, did lose in the week to Orlando Pirates, but we could see they made early changes. Taking off key players so that they could race and go and keep them for the second leg of the semi final. Sekekune, on the other hand, picked up another 3 points in the Premier League in the PSL. They're laying top of the log at the moment now, 3 out of 3. Can they pull off a miracle and come back and beat Stellenbosch? I think it is a steep hill to climb. But anything can happen. Sekekune can go and win 2-0. The game can go into extra time or to penalties, and anything can happen. However, I do predict Pirates and Stellies to be in the MTN final for the year 2025. And some other notable features to look forward to in the Bundesliga, we have Bayern Munich hosting RB Leipzig in the opening fixture of the German Bundesliga. That fixture will be on Friday night. while PSG will host Angers in the League One. That fixture will also be on Friday night. In La Liga, Atletico Madrid will host Ilche after losing the weekend. Atletico Madrid will hope to bounce back, while Barcelona travels to Levante. And on Sunday, Real Madrid will travel to Real Oviedo. That is the end of the video. That is my predictions for the weekend, of where I gave my thoughts and my opinions. Um, I do expect some exciting football. I do expect goals across all the leagues. Thank you everyone for liking and subscribing. I do watch alongs on TikTok. My handle is football with Fakir, the same like my YouTube name. Please feel free to follow up on TikTok and can join in the watch alongs that I do. I did one on Tuesday and Wednesday for the PSL. I'll be doing one this evening as well for West Ham versus Chelsea. So thank you very much to all who has liked, subscribed, and commented on the videos. I do appreciate it. Until next time, bye.